Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की, श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातान् सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपाकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. So we will be reading from Canto 4, Chapter 7, which is about the sacrifice performed by Daksha. And today we will be covering verse 50. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aham Brahma cha sarvascha Jagata karanam param Atmeshvara upadrashta Swayandrig avisheshana. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aham Brahma cha sarvascha Jagata karanam param Atmeshvara upadrashta Swayandrig avisheshana. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aham Brahma cha sarvascha Jagata karanam param Atmeshvara upadrashta Swayandrig avisheshana. Sarvascha Jagata karanam param Atmeshvara visheshana. Vacha Aham Brahmascha sarvascha Param Atmeshvara upadrishta Swayandrig avisheshana. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Brahmacha sarvascha Jagata karanam param Upadrashta Swayandrig avisheshana. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Cha sarvascha Jagata karanam param Upadrashta Swayandrig avisheshana. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aham Brahma cha sarvascha Jagata karanam param Drashta Swayandrig avisheshana. Shri Bhagavan, Lord Vishnu, Uvacha, said, Aham, I, Brahma, Cha, and Sarva, Lord Shiva, Cha, and Jagata, of the material manifestation, Karanam, cause, Param, supreme, Atma Ishvara, the super soul, Upadrashta, the witness, Swayam Drek, self-sufficient, Avisheshna, there is no difference. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Please repeat. Lord Vishnu replied, Brahma, Lord Shiva and I are the supreme cause of the material manifestation. I am the super soul, the self-sufficient witness. But impersonally, there is no difference between Brahma, Lord Shiva and me. Poured by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Brahma was born out of the transcendental body of Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva was born out of the body of Brahma. Lord Vishnu is therefore the supreme cause. In the Vedas also, it is stated that in the beginning there was only Vishnu, Narayana. There was no Brahma or Shiva. Similarly, Shankaracharya confirmed this. Narayana or Lord Vishnu is the origin, and Brahma and Shiva are manifested after creation. Lord Vishnu is also Atmeshvara, the super soul in everyone. Under his direction, everything is prompted from within. For example, in the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, Tene Brahma Hridaya. He first educated Lord Brahma from within. In Bhagavad Gita 10.2, Lord Krishna states, Aham Adir Hi Devanam. Lord Vishnu or Krishna is the origin of all demigods, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. In another place in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Krishna states, Aham Sarvasya Prabha. Everything is generated from me. This includes all the demigods. Similarly, in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadiyasya Yata, and in the Upanishads is the statement, Yato va imani bhutani jayante. Everything is generated from Lord Vishnu. Everything is maintained by him, and everything is annihilated by his energy. Therefore, by their actions and reactions, the energies which come from him create the cosmic manifestations and also dissolve the whole creation. Thus, the Lord is the cause and also the effect. Whatever effect we see is the interaction of his energy, and because the energy is generated from him, he is both cause and effect. Simultaneously, everything is different and the same. It is said that everything is Brahman, Sarvam Khalv Idam Brahma. In the highest vision, nothing is beyond Brahman, and therefore Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are certainly non-different from him. So, as we said, we are reading from chapter 7, which has got primarily, on the high level, 7 or 6 main sections, and we are in the 5th section. So the chapter started in the first section, the first 12 verses. Lord Shiva, he revives Daksha's life. Then Daksha offers his prayers to Lord Shiva. So that's the second section. So the third section is when Daksha starts a sacrifice and Lord Vishnu comes, which is like from verse 16 to 25. And then from 26 to 47, demigods, they offer prayers to Lord Vishnu. And the section which we are in now, it's from 48 to 54. The Lord instructs Daksha. And in the last section, we'll see Daksha completes the sacrifice. So let's take today's verse line by line. This first line, Aham Brahma cha sarvascha. So Vishnu or Krishna is saying, Brahma, Shiva, and Aham, I. We are Jagata Karanam Param. So we are the Karanam, Param. The Karanam is the cause. Which cause? Param, supreme cause of what? Jagata, material manifestation. Atmeshvara Updrishta. So Krishna is the super soul. Swayandrik Avisheshana. There is no difference between me, Brahma, and Shiva. Why? Because we are all working for the common goal or the common purpose, which is creation, maintenance, and destruction. So we know them as the Guna Avtaras as well. So we need to understand, like when Brahma or Shiva are glorified in this sense, so they are glorified in a representative sense. In that sense, there is no difference between them. Srila Prabhupada mentions about 10.2 verse from Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, I'm the origin of all devtas. Na me vidu surgana prabhavam na maharshaya aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvasha. So na me vidu, I am not known. Known by whom? Suragana. I am not known by devtas. Prabhavam, it means like the origin or my origin. So even the devtas don't know my origin. And what to speak of devtas? Maharshi, they don't know me. So we say like, oh, devtas, they are in Swarga, right? And they are very exalted, if we compare, especially to us, they are. But devtas also worship sages or rishis. For example, Indra bows down to Brihaspati. So devtas are high in terms of power, and rishis are higher in terms of knowledge, devotion, renunciation. So when Krishna says devtas and rishis, they don't know me. So why they don't know him? Because aham adirhi devanam. So because I come even before they come, before Maharishis or demigods come. And this Krishna also says in chapter 4, 4.1, where he says, I give this knowledge to the sun god. So imam vivasvate yogam. So we see like Krishna repeats, or it comes again and again, like no one knows him. So why is it important? Because it tells us like two things. One, he's the source of everything. He's the original person. And secondly, even like when we say the powerful or, the people, the worshipable, in this material world. So we can't compare anyone to Krishna. So for example, in today's purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions about 10.8, which is the first shloka of the Chaturshloki of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. So aham sarvasya prabhavo, I am the source, I am the origin of everything. Mata sarvam pravartate, everything comes from me, everything emanates from me. But hang on, doesn't it mean the same thing? Like, I'm the source of everything, so everything comes from me. Like, how is it different? Is it just repetition? So, what Krishna is saying? Pravartate. So, I'm the source of everything, and I'm also the maintainer of everything. So, I sustain everything. So, everything is sustained by Krishna. So, for example, in today's purport as well, Srila Prabhupada, he mentions, everything is generated from Lord Vishnu. Everything is maintained by Lord Vishnu. Everything is destroyed or annihilated by his energies as well. So, Pravartate means like Krishna is both the source and the sustainer. So, then it's like Matva, like who understands this thing? Like Krishna is the source and origin of everything. Then what happens when you understand it? Bhajante mam. So one who understands this, bhajante, worships him. How he worships him? Wholeheartedly. In the purport of 10.8, Srila Prabhupada mentions, a couple of verses, and I'll touch on those. He says, bhajante has been used in different verses, like in Bhagavad Gita, for example, 6th chapter, 6.47. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantar atmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mata. Where Krishna says, one who thinks about me is the highest. And how he thinks about me? With Shraddhavan. So he worships me, Shraddhavan bhajate. The one who worships me with the faith. So that is the highest. So Same Yokta Tamo Mata. Srila Prabhupada says, bhajate doesn't just mean to worship. It means to serve Krishna, to do service. In 9th chapter, bhajante, which comes from the same root word in Sanskrit, 9.13 it says, Mahatmanas tumam partha devam prakritim ashrita bhajante ananya manaso gyatva bhutadim avayayam. So the great souls, the Mahatmas, Mahatmanas tumam partha. So they take shelter of Devim Prakritim Ashrita. So they take shelter of Devi Prakriti. And then they bhajante. They worship me. They serve me. They render service to me. So bhajanti, it's like rendering service. And how do they do that? Ananya manso. They fix their mind on me. So their mind doesn't get like distracted, to anything else or anywhere else. Gyatva bhutadim avayam. So what they understand then, that Krishna is bhuta adi. He is the adi, the beginning, the origin of all existences. Avayam. He is imperishable. So when devotees, offer themselves to Krishna, so it's not like any ritualistic way, I'm being told to do this, done. No, they offer their heart to Krishna. They become totally dependent on Krishna. So they completely take shelter of Krishna. So iti matva bhajante ma buddha bhava samanvita. So when a person starts worshipping that way, then what happens? Like Buddha Bhava Samanvita. So opposite of Buddha, like intelligent or a learned person, is Moda, a foolish person. So that person with Bhava Samanvita, like with the heart, with the emotions of the heart, serve Krishna. Because the knowledge of Krishna, what does that do? Like the knowledge of his position, it enlightens a person, gives that person that intelligence, and then the person gets attracted to Krishna, wholeheartedly serve Krishna. So in that sense, head and heart, they both get purified, transformed, and directed towards Krishna. Because if we even, in our day-to-day life, how to understand? So our actions, they are based on our understanding of our relationship with Krishna. And it may go back to, understanding like the three categories of understanding God or Krishna, like Sambandha, Abhidhaya, and Prayojana. Sambandha we know, the relationship, relationship with Krishna. Abhidhaya, so Abhidhaya is the process. And Prayojana, the goal, is the prema. So with Sambandha, who do we want to have the Sambandha? The relationship is with Krishna. And how to develop that relationship is through the process of sadhana bhakti. And when I follow the process, what happens? The result is prayojana. I get the Krishna prema. So, for example, like when we see some advertisements or some boards, like having advertisement. So it could be, for any jewelry, or could be for any dress or car or house, like could be anything, material, anything. So when we see that, I want to buy this, I want to enjoy that, and it's not just about my enjoyment. I want it to be the best among my friends, and this is how generally people talk about, like, I want my house to be the best one, or my dress to be the best one when I go to that party. Even though, like people say, oh, other people would be so jealous, or, even the advertisement, they say, oh, then you'll see the envy in others' eyes, how they promote, like, you will be the best. Even though it's not the proper consciousness, it's kind of like, how can you enjoy someone's envy? Like, but anyways, so it's not like any positive enjoyment, It's like you are pulling down people or pushing down people, and then you are enjoying. So when we see those kind of advertisements, and pay attention, obviously, then it's like we are having that sambandha with that car or house or, whatever, the thing is. Like, I want to, the sambandha, the relationship I'm establishing is, I want to own it. I want to enjoy it. So with the abhidaya, what I'm doing, what do I need to do? Oh, it's so expensive. I can't afford it right now. I should earn more money. So that's the process I'm taking in. Okay, I need more money to buy that thing, buy, car or house or phone or whatever it is. I may need to get a loan, like I may get a car loan or house loan. And the result would be, I would be so proud owning it. I would be able to enjoy it. And then I would be able to see, like, how people are envious of me, like possessing that. But the thing is, if, like the person we are trying to become envy, they got a better one than us, rather than making them envious, we would be envious, like, what? We were hoping to have some enjoyment. No, we won't be able to. So with these material things, if enjoyment comes, it would be like very short term, very temporary, we say. So the overall point is, when we want to make or develop a relationship, we follow a process and then we get the result. So the Chaturshloki was the first one mentioned here in the purport. In that verse 10.8, all the three being mentioned, like Sambandha, Abhidaya and Prayojana. So we understand, yes, I need to develop a relationship with Krishna. Then 10.9 talks about Abhidaya and Prayojana. 10.10 and 11, they talk about Abhidaya, the process to develop by which we can establish the connection. I generally give this example, to new people who come to Krishna consciousness to help understand these three things, the importance of Sambandha, Abhidaya, the relationship with Krishna, importantly. So for example, if you are going to work and you are like super late for a very, very important meeting, while you are driving, you saw, on the footpath, a lady fell on the, footpath. But you are getting already too late, super late. And you can see other people, like they just gathered, or, when they saw, they ran towards her. So you thought, okay, yeah, there were enough people, to look after her. She would be fine. They will call ambulance or whatever is required. I'm already getting late. Otherwise, I would have stopped, So you just go for your meeting. But if you saw that lady and she happens to be mom of your friend, then even if you are getting late, you would be like, oh, no, I should stop, do the necessary thing. Like, at least call my friend, this has happened. Call my friend and, call ambulance and see, check whether she's okay. But if that lady happens to be your own mom, what would you do? You may call your work like, you know what? I can't make this. Anyone else can run the meeting or, cancel it. I can't just come today, because you saw your mom, she needs you, or because of that relationship, you are not like, oh, no, someone else would take care. No. So you take her to the hospital, or whatever is needed, you do that. So the point is, the actions are based on our understanding of our relationships. So when we understand our relationship with Krishna, so he's our father, he's my father, he loves me, he loves all of us. So which helps us develop that relationship with him, develop that love. Like, yes, he's my protector, he's our protector. So we develop that conviction, that faith. For example, if I'm walking on a dark street at night, and if some tall, well-built man, he comes towards me, I would be intimidated by him, like, oh. But if I know my brother, or my husband, or my father, or my son, like, who is much, much stronger, than that person, then I won't be scared or intimidated by that person. So Krishna is like that person. Like, when I understand he is my protector, so I get that fearlessness, because I trust him. Like, yes, he will protect me. So in Bhagavad Gita's purport, the 10.8, Srila Prabhupada refers to Atharva Veda, Gopala Thapani Upanishad, which says, Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedamscha Gapayati Sam Krishna. So the verse says, it's Krishna who instructed Brahma. Purvam Yo Vai Vedamscha Gapayati. He gave the Vedic knowledge to Brahma in the past. Which takes us to the point, Krishna is the source of everything. Because sometimes people think, others to be the source of everything. For example, Brahma is the source of everything. But we understand, like in Srimad Bhagavatam, it's stated like Sarga and Vasarga, like primary creation, secondary creation. So we understand Brahma is the secondary creation. And Krishna is the one who gave knowledge to Brahma. So he must have been before Brahma, right? And it's mentioned in today's verse as well. So Krishna is like more enlightened, more knowledgeable than Brahma. So, that's why he was able to give knowledge to Brahma. Another verse, from Gopala Thapani Upanishad is Narayana Parop Devas Tasmad Jatas Chaturmukha Tasmad Rudro Bhavat Deva Sacha Sarva Gyadam Gata. Narayan is the supreme personality of Godhead. And from him, Brahma was born. And from him, Shiva was born. So Krishna is the source of everything. So everything is under him and no one is above him. So he's the supreme controller. He's the supreme proprietor. And we see this in Sri Ishopanishad as well. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjetha magrat kasya sveddanam. Like, everything in the world is owned and controlled by the Lord. And we accept, or we should only accept things which we need or necessary and which have been allocated to us. Because everything, is owned by him, everything has come from him. He's the proprietor of everything. He's the supreme enjoyer. And we saw this in yesterday's verse as well, where it was mentioned like Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Rachti. So a person who is in full Krishna consciousness, he knows like the ultimate benefactor, ultimate beneficiary, of all sacrifices is Krishna. He is the Lord of all the planets, all the demigods. He is the well-wisher of all living entities. That person attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So Shantim Rachti. So that person's attained peace because that person understands Krishna is the enjoyer. He is the proprietor, well-wisher. Because nowadays, when we see people talking about peace, so it's generally referred to in terms of not fighting. It could be between families or countries. People talk about like CSR, corporate social responsibility, or ESG, like environmental, social, and governance things. We need to preserve the environment, protect the earth for our next generation. We should save the earth. Yes, it is true. It's all good. But even if I plant a tree, I water, that seed, I plant or I plant a seed, I water it, right? But can I say, hey, I have just planted you, I have watered you, now grow up, grow? No, I can't. Can I control that? No. First thing, I didn't make the seed. I didn't make the water. And I can't even control the growth. Like if it grows, it grows. It doesn't, right? What it means is, without acknowledging Krishna, God, it's incomplete. Yes, it's good, like I should plant, but I need to understand what I'm planting is coming from the Supreme. What helping me in planting it is coming from Supreme. So it's Krishna's, para energy, so superior energy or apara energy, inferior material energy. Because even we talk about helping others, like as I said, corporate social responsibilities. Because I, attended an event and they were like, oh yes, this is all good and important, all this stuff with philanthropic activities, charities. And I was thinking, yes, that's mentioned in our scriptures, which says for other living entities, we have debts from others, like 6 kinds of debts we need to repay. And by doing Krishna consciousness, by serving Krishna, we are actually repaying all of them. Because they all are like the demigods, sages, living entities, like families, forefathers. They are all parts and parcels of Krishna. As mentioned in Narayan Upanishad as well, from Narayan, Brahma is born. From Narayan, Indra is born. From Narayan, Vasus, Rudras, Aditya, they are all born from Narayan. So Narayan is an expansion of Krishna. And that's mentioned in today's verse as well. We see, like in Bhagavatam, different references how Krishna is supreme. In first canto, it said, Ete chamsa kalapamsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indradi Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. So Krishna is the source of all incarnations, He's the fountainhead of all incarnations. Like Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So he comes down to this material world, sometimes himself, or he sends his different plenary portions, and empowers them to do a mission. So he's Bhagwan. He's full of all those 6 opulences, unlimitedly he got them, like fame, beauty, knowledge, renunciation, strength, wealth. So he's full of them. And based on, what action is required, he empowers the incarnations. And we shouldn't misunderstand. And, just for example, we got so many bulbs in the room. So we shouldn't misjudge or misunderstand the power of the electric house by, these bulbs, like it's limited to those bulbs. No. So we can't judge the power of the electric house by these small bulbs. Similarly, like with incarnations of the Lord. So they, when they descend or when they come or when they manifest, so they demonstrate that power which is needed at that particular time. Krishna has got like 64 principal attributes, and his expansions have a certain percentage of those qualities. So like with Vishnu Tattva, we say 93%. With for Shiva, we say 84% of the qualities it's mentioned. For Jivas, it can go up to 78%. And Brahma's got like 78%. And Jivas, we got like very minute. So the point is, Krishna, he's the source of everything. And he's also the, like, not just the source and the cause, but he's also the destroyer. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 11, as time, I am the destroyer. So, Kalo isme lokashaya krita pravartho. So, as time, I am the time. And why do I come? To destroy the world. So, Krishna says this when Arjuna asks him, so Arjuna first asked him to show his Virat Rupa, Vishwa Rupa. And when Krishna shows the Virat Rupa and Kal Rupa, Arjuna gets frightened. So then he asks, who are you? What's your purpose? So Krishna answers, like, I'm the time, like Kalosmi, I'm the time, the destroyer of all the worlds. And my purpose is to destroy the world. But he said, Rite, like, except you, like Pandavas, everyone will be destroyed. So except you or without you, it could mean the both ways, like Rite, like, so you would be saved like Pandavas. And because, like what Arjuna was saying, oh, I can't kill. So what Krishna is saying, even if you don't kill, they are already killed. So be the instrument in my plan. So, and that's also an indication, like you will be victorious. Kauravas will be defeated. So like Karna fell on the 17th day. Shalya became commander. He fell on the 18th day. And he was like killed by Yudhishthir Maharaj. Then the rest of the like soldiers or the warriors, from the Duryodhana side, they continued with the fighting. When Shakni was killed by Sahadev, Duryodhana, he fled. He hid under a lake, underwater. But Bhima found him, challenged him, defeated him. So when Duryodhana was like mortally wounded, Pandavas thought like they have won the war. So at that night, Ashwathama came. He slaughtered like Pandavas' warriors and the sons. Because Pandavas, when anyone in the war, the tradition is you basically sleep on the battlefield to claim and to show the victory, claim that land. So Pandavas were sleeping on the battlefield, and remaining soldiers, warriors, sons, they were slaughtered by Ashwathama, Kritavarma, and Kripacharya. So very few people, they lived or survived. So with the Kal Rupa, Krishna tells like apart from you, everyone would be destroyed. So one thing to note here is like the Kal Rupa was very merciful to Arjuna. It may seem like very ferocious to non-devotees, to materialist people, but not ferocious towards devotees. We see, another example is Narasimhadev. So he was like very ferocious for demons like Hiranyakashipu. But he was very loving, very gentle towards Prahlad Maharaj, because he was so fierce, like roaring like a frightening lion towards the demons. But when Prahlad Maharaj came in front of him, he offered obeisances. So Narasimhadev touched Prahlad Maharaj's head with his hand. We see that in pictures, like one Narasimhadev very fierce and another one smiling, with Prahlad Maharaj. It's also mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela. Although very ferocious, the lioness is very kind to her cubs. Similarly, although very ferocious to non-devotees like Hiranyakashipu, Lord Narasimha is very soft and kind to devotees like Prahlad Maharaj. So Virat Rupa, we know like It didn't destroy Pandavas. So as we said, another meaning is, even without you, Arjuna, even if you say, I don't want to fight, I have come here as time and I'll destroy everything, everyone. Because their destruction is destined by divine arrangement. So if you think like, I don't want to fight, I'll get some, sinful reactions, I won't kill my relatives, but their death is already written. You can't stop it. They would eventually, be destroyed. Because sometimes people think destruction different from God, separate from God. To understand that, we can take an example of a king, A king is like very nice and virtuous, but it doesn't mean he won't have any prisoners in his kingdom. So similarly, in the material world, destruction is a reality. So both creation and destruction, Krishna is the cause. But when people actually are destroyed or face difficulties, is it then because of Krishna? No. They are destroyed or have difficulty because of their own bad karma. But as devotees, we know, we need to be mindful of the aparadhas, especially the Vaishnava aparadhas. Because when we do any Vaishnava aparadha, the Vaishnava, they may not even get offended. But Krishna, he doesn't forgive. So we can be relieved of Vaishnava aparadha when we sincerely beg for forgiveness. Krishna in the heart of Vaishnava sees that sincerity, genuineness. And to the degree we are sincere, to that degree the Lord will relieve us from the effect of Vaishnava aparadha. Because we say, but Vaishnavas, they don't take any offense, so there is no need for forgiveness or ask forgiveness, because they are not even taking offense. But at that time we need to remind ourselves, Krishna takes it very seriously. He punishes the offender. And if we think, okay, fine, sorry, or I said sorry, very ritualistic way, no. So we need to have that sincerity and genuineness, because we may want to, or someone may want to escape that punishment because I said sorry, So why to have that paschatav, like atonement, But the thing is, the chances are, in that case, we'll commit the same mistake again. So when Parikshit Maharaj, for example, he put the snake around Shamiki Muni, he wanted punishment. He wanted I should be punished, because he didn't want other people connected to him to be affected by his mistake. So he was like, let my offense, affect me, so I should be punished, not my citizens or my family members. And also so that I don't make, such mistakes again. Because when we make mistakes, we should have that humility to accept them, to ask for forgiveness. Because if we make a mistake and we don't even realize it, we don't even rectify it or recognize it, repent it, then how can we come out of the offenses, out of it? So, by honestly, sincerely regretting, and asking for forgiveness, we overcome those ill effects. And we saw this with Daksha as well. So he was genuinely repenting, asking for forgiveness from Shiva. He offered prayers to him, and he would be successful in the sacrifice. So we'll see that later in the chapter. So I'll summarize what we spoke. So today's verse was about how Brahma, Lord Shiva and Krishna, they are the supreme cause of material manifestation. There is no difference between the three. We know everything comes from Krishna. He is the original source of everything and all incarnations. And he's the maintainer of everything, proprietor of everything. He's the supreme enjoyer. And we also spoke about how he is the creator and the destroyer as well, like in the form of Kala, time. And understanding his position like as the ultimate creator, maintainer, destroyer, that helps us establish, or understand one, our sambandha, like relationship with him, our position, like he's the supreme, I'm the servant. And help us follow the process like abhidaya of bhakti to achieve like prayojana, the goal, which is prema. So we'll finish here. Thank you for your kind attention and time. Any comments or questions? Yes, Prabhu. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, so as far as my understanding goes, when we say impersonalism, so impersonalism is not acknowledging the personal form. That's why it's like impersonalism. And that's why not acknowledging the form, like the personal form, is not. So if we, like say the different levels of realization. So with Brahman realization, so it's said like you are just acknowledging like the light, effulgence of Krishna, which is, part of Krishna, but just limit there. You won't get, the full realization, because we go by like, okay, that's the lowest, Brahman realization, then Paramatma realization, and then Bhagwan realization comes. So this is how we understand, like with the impersonalism. Like if someone says, oh, it's impersonal, like, yes, effulgence is coming from Krishna, but if you don't know the person, it's like, oh, only light, like only the effulgence. But what is the source, like where this light is coming from? So that's one part of your answer for your question, Prabhu. And sorry, was there anything like with the impersonalism or? Yes, we spoke about it like when we say the non-difference in that sense of representative way. Yeah. So, like, when you say, like, people only read Vedas, but in Kali Yuga, that's even unfortunate. People even don't do that, and so there are like different levels. So, even in Bhagavad Gita, I would say Krishna, gives different paths, because he's like, okay, not everyone would be, for example, with 926, when he said Patram Pushpam. So he's like, okay, offer me, some leaf, water, fruit with love and affection. Okay, if you can't do that, then 9.27, which is not pure bhakti. So he's very accommodating. When we say merciful, so I was like, oh, what does it mean to be merciful? Like, he's accommodating everyone's, like kind of accommodating everyone. Like, okay, if you can't do that, okay, do at least this or do that. So we do see that, like, even in Bhagavad Gita, for example, like, it's not like Krishna is demanding, the highest. Yes, that is, like with 18.6566, he's that suggests, okay, take, surrender unto me, take my shelter. But if you're not taking, he's like describing, okay, these are different pathways. Ultimately, like, one needs to understand, even as a yogi, like when they meditate on the Paramatma form, for example, So there are different levels of yogis as well. So some, advanced yogis would be like meditating on each spoke of like the chakra, for example. So yes, so it's like different levels, and but the highest, like Srila Prabhupada emphasized, the highest for us, like with Krishna. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yes, like, you're fortunate, Prabhu, like, even though you didn't have the background, you came to the, like, with Srila Prabhupada much to the right conclusion, and, got into it, because people struggle, to come that, to that understanding. This is what I would say. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So we'll finish here. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय, जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga.